Welcome. The purpose of this particular video is help you learn how to calculate pH and pOH given either hydronium or hydroxide ion concentration. All you need is you need to know one, and then you can find the remaining three. Okay. Now I'm literally going to solve a few problems for you, and also walk you through the calculator operations if any of you are unfamiliar or on how to do it. This would be a good opportunity to get hold of that. All right. Now, without further delay, if you remember on the very last video, on the very last segment of the last video, I talked about this particular example, and I mentioned water is a special case, that it can act both as an acid or a base when it's reacting with itself, but it can also react as an acid or base depending on what it's reacting with if it's not water. All right. With that said, I gave an equation which is tagged to this. This is the foundation of everything that we have to know about pH and pOH. The good news is you do not have to remember this equation, nor this value that goes with the equation, which is a constant, which means it doesn't change, and three other equations, and you do not have to remember these either. So you do not have to remember all these four equations, and basically all you need to know is which equation to apply, when to apply, how to apply, right? So which, when, and how. Those are the three things you need to learn. And on top of that, you need to know how to use the calculator. Historically speaking, this is something all students like once they learn it, because they just wish all 25 questions on the exam are based on this particular area, because they know they can get a sure A on this topic. All right. Without further delay, let me just bring up an image of a scientific calculator. For those of you that are still using cell phones, you may have to just ask me how to modify that to fit the need of solving this. It's not the end of the world if you don't have one of these. If you have one of these, it's good. If you have either a TI 83, 83 plus, 84, 84 silver edition, gold edition, platinum edition, titanium, there's a whole bunch of metal editions on the 84s. There are a few attachments to it, but what I'm going to show you, the keystrokes are exactly the same irrespective of which edition you have. All right. Now, for the purpose of solving some of these problems, what I want you to know is, I'm going to get out of the full screen mode so I can actually use my pens. Okay. You need to know this key right here, which is the second. Okay, I'm looking at this second. And obviously this key right here, the negative. Please do not use this negative. Okay, you're going to keep getting an error. Use this negative, and also use the log function, and then the double E. These are the four keys you need to know to solve any problem throughout this course on the topic of pH and pOH. Okay. Like I said, if you have 83 or 84, the keys I circled are exactly the same. All right. With that said, I'm going to actually bring a live virtual calculator on the screen and actually solve this problem, which is right up here. All right. So this is how you can actually get it. But you won't be allowed to use this on an exam. But if you're solving homework, if you want to know how to get this, I can post the application file on Moodle. You just have to download and run it. You'll have a virtual calculator on your screen. All right. With that said, the question says it's given you hydronium ion concentration, and it's asking you to find pH and pOH. The good thing is, because we already know the pH, with the hydronium ion concentration, finding pH is very easy. All you got to do is pH equals negative log of whatever the hydronium ion concentration is. So we're using this equation right here to find pH, because we already know this information. All right, now let's bring our calculator back on the screen. Okay, all I have to do is, you see, I'm entering, can see my mouse pointer. I click on this negative. Oh, I gotta first turn it on. Negative log, and then enter 0.25. Close the bracket. Even if you don't, it'll work. There you go. So pH is, I gotta bring it back and show you, it's 0.60. Well, at least 2 decimal places would work. Alright, now is the question, how do we find pOH? To find pOH, you need this, which means we have to use this to get OH minus. Okay, we know H3O plus and OH minus equals 1e to the negative 14. Okay, we know this value right here, so we can just get this. So all you need to do is OH minus equals, I will have to give you 1, otherwise it's impossible to do any of these problems, and H3O plus is 0.25. Now how do we actually solve this on your calculator? Let's bring the calculator back up. So to enter the 1e to the negative 14, hit 1, hit second, and then the comma button, which is the double E, and then hit this negative 14 divided by 0.25. This will give you your hydroxide ion concentration, which is equal to 4e to the negative 14. Now we can find pOH, which is, again, let's bring our calculator back on screen. Well, the formula, let's write the formula, that'll make things easy. Negative log of OH minus equals negative log of 4e to the negative 14. So let's bring this calculator back up. Alright, so you hit this negative once, hit the log button once, and then you can manually enter this value, or hit second and hit the negative one more time. That's your answer, which you probably have used in your other classes. So it's 13.37. Good deal. That's it. Pretty much the last few pages of the homework is able to do this, so you're all going to like this one. Alright, so let's keep moving. Alright, I've given the equations again. Like I said, let's work on this problem first. Again, this problem says, I've given you the hydronium ion concentration. Sorry, something funny is happening with my pen. Okay, good. You see, I've given you the hydronium ion concentration, and I ask you to find OH minus and pOH. So this is exactly the second part of the previous problem. I'm just repeating it so that you know how to go around it if that is a problem that you're focusing on. All right. Okay. So what do? Well, when you want to find OH minus concentration, you can do 2 things. So H3O plus times OH minus equals 1e to the negative 14. We know this, so OH minus equals 1e to the negative 14 over 0.35, and that'll be, let's bring our calculator back up. So 1, again, to enter the E, second, the comma, and then hit this negative 14 divided by 0.35. So 2.85 times 2.85 10 to the negative 14, I believe. Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay, now we've found OH minus. We can find pOH, which is negative log, I'm going to do this here, so negative log of 2.85 10 to the negative 14. We're using this equation, right? So that will be, let's bring the calculator back up. So it's negative, again, log of, I don't want to type in all the numbers, so second and answer, close the bracket, hit enter, and there you go. The numbers should be slightly different because I did change the value. I think it's 13.55. Good, we got one more problem, and we're 30 seconds ahead of 30 seconds past 10 minutes, so let's wrap this up really quick. If pH is 3.5, what is pOH? This is interesting because I have not given you pH yet. So finding pOH is easy. You got to use this equation. pH plus pOH equals 14. pH is 3.5. Again, you should be able to do this. This is not even high school math. This is probably somewhere around 5th grade. So 14 minus 3.5 would be around 10.5, right? Okay. That's pOH. How do we find OH minus? All right, so pOH equals negative log of OH minus. We know this. Sorry, we know this. We want to find this. This is very interesting. People that are math oriented will really like these things. So OH minus would be 10 to the negative 10.5. This is how we are going to physically enter it on the calculator. Okay, let's actually see how it's done. Okay, I'm going to move this calculator to this side so you can actually, let me keep it here so you can not get carried away with the problem. All right, so to do the inverse log, you got to first hit second, hit log. All right, it will pop up like this, and hit this negative, this one within the bracket. Like I said, you never use this negative, and then hit 10.5. Close the bracket, hit enter. Let me repeat it one more time. If you're given pH or pOH and you're trying to find what's inside the bracket, you got to do inverse log. So second log, hit this negative and hit whatever that number is, so 10.5. Close the bracket. There we go. So it's 3.16 e to the negative 11, I believe. Now here's something very interesting. Let me ask you, what is H3O plus concentration? Well, now you know OH minus. You got to go to this equation. So it'll be 1 e to the negative 14 divided by 3.16 e to the negative 11. This is just a pop type of quiz. So let's bring our numbers back. So again, 1 to get the e, second comma, and hit this one time, 1/4 divided by 3.16, again second, e, negative 11. Right, so that'll be 3.16 e to the negative 4. There you go. This is all you really need to know how to go between H3O plus, OH minus, pH, and pOH. You need to know only one, and with the help of these 4 equations, you could go back and forth. And I have literally worked out 3 different problems, and this 3 problems along with your lab is all you really need to know to master the last few problems on your homework. All right? Stay tuned for more videos.